I am working on collecting every LEGO Star Wars minifigure ever made. And so far, I've made quite a dent in the collection. Right now, I've got over 900 minifigures of about 1,300. So we've come pretty far. Up at the top are the oldest guys versus down at the bottom are the newest guys. So soon I'm going to be expanding this to add the 2024 minifigures. But we have several new guys to add to the wall today, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off, we have a couple of pretty cool minifigures in my opinion. So on the left here we have EV99. He came out in 2003 in the Jabba's Palace set. And for a 2003 minifigure, they didn't have a lot of techniques and specific molding. So they didn't capture the actual character super well, but they made a really interesting looking Lego minifigure, right? He's got the dark red color for the head and the torso, and then just the old dark gray for the arms and legs. And what makes him pretty unique is that they actually printed his head upside down, because if you see there, that's where the minifigure head hole would normally go on the peg. But since they attached it on this clip piece here, they printed him upside down. So pretty cool minifigure, and he's pretty rare, sought after. He goes for about $23, so you're getting up there in value. On the right here we have a Boba Fett, and what makes him exclusive is this brown pauldron on him. He came out in 2010 in a couple of sets. Came out in the 2010 Slave One as well as a watch set, and this is a pretty standard Boba Fett for the time. It's interesting that they gave him a brown pauldron, because normally, in those, especially those watch sets, they'll just throw whatever they have around in the warehouse, and I guess they had a bunch of these left over. But he's got really good printing. They nailed Boba Fett pretty early. No leg or arm printing, but that's pretty common for the time. Then if we take off his head, he's got the standard Boba Fett, Jango Fett looking face there. No back printing on the head there, which is interesting. And he's got the sand green jetpack as well. So two pretty decent minifigures, I think. But that does it for these two. Let's get on to the next ones. Next up, we have a couple of pretty interesting minifigures. On the left here, we have what Bricklink refers to as Darth Maul without cape. He came out in 2017 in the Duel of the Fates set, as well as in 2019 in the Sith Infiltrator Microfighter set. This is a pretty good Darth Maul, right? I mean, he's got his smiley face there. He's got his horns, which is really cool. I liked it when they started giving him the horns. And he's got his standard torso printing and leg printing. They got that one down pretty good this time. On the back there, just pretty standard back printing. He's a cool minifigure. He goes for about $7, but does not compare to the guy on the right. So what we have here is deceptively a very, very expensive minifigure. So I got a shout out to my buddy Chase. He gave this to me for my birthday, which is extremely kind of him to do. I'm so happy and grateful for it. So this is Wes Jansen. He came out in 2016 in the UCS Assault on Hoth set. And what does he go for? $100. Why? Because it is all in the helmet right here. This is the only exclusive piece in this minifigure. Everything else, this is all DAC, right? This is the 2016 Snowspeeder DAC, and that is like a $4 minifigure. But this helmet makes this a $100 minifigure, which is ridiculous. I can't explain why he is that much. I mean, he's a Rebel pilot in a very rare UCS set. Didn't sell super well at the time, so a lot of those minifigures have gone up there in value. But I don't fully understand the $100 price value. I would expect maybe like $50 to $60. I'm thinking like other UCS pilots like Dutch Vander, he is not anywhere near this price. But yeah, this is Wes Jansen. He's got pretty cool printing there. He's got like racing stripes almost. Then he just has, standard snowspeeder pilot garb. So again, thank you to my buddy Chase for giving me this minifigure. I'm super glad to have it in my collection now. But that does it for these two minifigures. Let's get on to the next ones. So next up we get into the Disney era of Star Wars. On the left here we have the First Order Walker driver. In the middle, we have Kira in tan jacket, and on the right, we have Admiral Emmett. So starting with the left, and probably my favorite of these three minifigures is the First Order Walker driver. He came out in 2017 in a couple of sets, the First Order Walker, and then also the Micro Fighter version of it. He's not a very rare figure to find. He's about $5, but he's pretty cool looking. He's got the cool gray stripe going down his helmet. He's got gray printing arms. I think just the light bluish gray lends itself really well to this character. It's kind of cool to see a Walker driver with it. Other than that, he's got pretty standard First Order looking printing. I think this is using the Flame Trooper helmet. And underneath, we've got, of course, Angry Clone, which every Imperial clone, whatnot, used at the time. In the middle, we have Kira in her tan jacket. That's what Bricklink calls her. And this is a pretty good figure. She goes for about, I think, $11 or $12, something around in that range. She came out in 2018 in the solo Millennium Falcon. And this is not a super interesting looking figure. I really like Kira as a character, but she's not a very complex looking character. So, and then I don't think they captured the actress's likeness super well, which is kind of a theme you might see going forward. But she's got, just standard jacket printing. She uses the Friends style, kind of soft plastic that kind of bends there, if you can see. Then on the back, she's got some printing and just kind of a bland looking face. But that's Kira. On the right, we have Admiral Emmett. He came out in 2018 in the Resistance Ski Speeder set. And this is a character that, honestly, if you told me to tell you the scene he was in, I couldn't do it. I don't remember him at all. However, I assume he appeared in the crate battle because he came in a crate battle set. But surprisingly, he goes for about $16, which is, not a super cheap minifigure for a character that, man, I just have no idea who he is. But he's got some pretty cool printing, I will say. He's got, the Resistance style bandolier there. He's got some leg printing, actually, which is really nice. And then he's got the eyes. He's real squinty looking. On the back there, he's got kind of a hood and a strap, and then no alternate face, which is really interesting. But that does it for these three guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Next up, we have some more Resistance members. On the left here, we have the Resistance Bombardier pilot, Nix Jerd. This is a really, really cool looking minifigure, like World War II era bomber. He's pretty dang cool looking. He came out in the Resistance, he actually came out in two sets. The Resistance Bomber. Why did I say two? Because technically that set has two releases. The original one, which came with just a standard Resistance Bomber, and then the second version came with a reprint of a figure called Finch Dallow, and he is one of the most expensive Star Wars minifigures of all time now, which is ridiculous. He just came out in a weird reprint set. But anyway, this is Nix Jerd, and he goes for about $22. So not super cheap, him. But it makes sense because this is a really cool looking minifigure. He's got really detailed torso and leg printing there. He's got really cool head print with the bomber mask. Then his helmet is crazy. Like if we can get it to focus just a little bit there. But you can see all of that crazy looking printing all around it. It's probably one of the more detailed helmets I've seen. Sorry, I readjust the camera. Boop. Then on the back here, he has just a standard smiley head. Nothing super interesting there. In the middle, we have another Resistance pilot. We have Tali Lintra. She goes for about $10, came out in 2018 in the Resistance A-Wing Microfighter, and she's a really cool looking minifigure too. Like, they really knocked it out of the park with these Resistance pilots. She's got really detailed torso printing and leg printing. Then she's got a print for what looks like a helmet visor, and then she uses the Rebel A-Wing helmet. And all around, this is a really cool color scheme for it, I think. Probably the favorite print they've done for the the A-Wing pilot helmet. Then on the back, she's got, the unmasked face there, just like Nick's. On the right here, we have just a standard Poe Dameron. He came out in the, I'm blanking on the names, like the Ace Fighter from Resistance with, it was with the TIE Fighter Griff guy. And he's just a standard looking Poe, except they use regular orange for his printing instead of the usual dark orange. And he's just, it's Poe. He actually looks really good, right? The printing's good. The detailing is solid on his torso and on his face. They capture Oscar Isaac pretty well, I think. Then on the back there, he's got his standard angry face. I think Poe usually comes with these two faces. And he goes for about $4. Not a very sought after minifigure, which makes sense, There's a ton of Poes out there. But it's not bad at all. He actually looks really good. But that does it for these 3 minifigures. Let's get on to the next ones. Next up, we have a couple of brand new minifigures. Both of these guys came out in 2023 in the Shin Hati Starfighter versus New Republic E-Wing. And these are some pretty cool minifigures in my opinion. So on the left here, we have Captain Porter. He appeared briefly, very briefly, in the Ahsoka series in like the first episode, which is kind of interesting. We got a minifigure for him, but nonetheless, I think he looks really cool. He's got the blue pilot uniform, which is pretty sweet. Great printing all around. He's got an awesome dark blue helmet there. You can see the New Republic symbol at the top, and then more printing all around. It's just a cool, helmet, especially in the dark blue. And if we take the helmet off, he's got his visor there. And then on the back, we have the visorless version. So pretty cool that they gave us 2 reverse heads, one without and one with a visor. And this is a video for Rebel pilots or Resistance pilots. We've got, 5 in this video? And well, I like pilots, so I'm glad to have him. He goes for about $8 right now. I have a feeling he might jump up in value after the set retires. It's not a super cheap set, and pilots usually maintain their value. So cool to have him for sure. On the right here, we have a New Republic astromech droid. That's all they refer to him as. There's no numbers or nothing. And he also came out in the same set. He also goes for about $8, and it's a pretty good R2 unit. He's got a big visor or eye hole there, which kind of sets him apart from many of the other astromechs. And then also the yellow legs and dome and the blue, torso there. It's a color scheme we have not seen on a astromech at all, I don't think. Like definitely not the yellow, but I don't even think we've gotten a blue one there before. And this one I definitely think will increase in value after the set is retired. Astromech droids always maintain their value, except R2 or BB-8s, right? Like weird astromech droids will always maintain their value and increase. And since this is an obscure, unique astromech, I have very high confidence that this will become, not super expensive, but definitely up there. So 2 really cool minifigures, I think. Glad to have them. And yeah, let's get on to the next ones. So here are the final 3 minifigures for the haul. The rest of these guys also came out in the New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati's Starfighter. On the left here, we have Morgan Elsbeth, then Baylan Skoll, then Shin Hati. And these guys were all pretty cool in the Ahsoka show. For someone, I really did not think Morgan Elsbeth was going to be as cool as she was, but she definitely grew on me. And with the upcoming Tales of the Empire, she might be even better. So starting with her, she's got the little bit of a darker skin tone there, which is pretty cool. She's got the robes on there, pretty detailed robe printing actually. And back printing, and then if we lift that up, she's got an angry face, and the hair kind of obscures her tattoo a little bit, which is unfortunate, but it might be a new hair piece. I have personally never seen it before, so it's a cool piece to add to the collection for sure. She goes for about $10, and the cheapest of these 3 minifigures. In the middle, we have Baylan Skoll, who truly was the star of Ahsoka. He, definitely leveled it up quite a bit. He looks really good. He's not a very complicated looking character, and the minifigure itself captures that. He's got his knight armor looking print there, and his robes down at the bottom. On the back, you can see that really nice printing continues there. He's got gunmetal gray arms, which is pretty cool. And then he also has reverse head print there. It's looking pretty angry. Then on the right is Shin Hati. Oh, sorry, Baylan goes for about $12 right now. And since, of course, the set is still, in stores, these prices will fluctuate quite a bit. They may go down substantially in the future after the set is retired, or go incredibly higher. And I feel like Baylan may go pretty high because he's such a fan favorite, but only time will tell. Shin Hati on the right is the most expensive of these three minifigures. She goes for about $15. And I think she's the worst of the three. I don't think they captured the actress's likeness super well, and I think it's partially because of the hair. I don't think the hair looks super great, but the printing is good. She's also got that kind of, ribbed armor on there, and you can see her Padawan braid, which is pretty cool. Then on the back, that really, again, cool printing continues, and on the reverse of her head, she's got kind of a scowl. Yeah, I think probably my least favorite of these three minifigures, but none of them are bad by any means. They're all pretty solid. But that does it for this haul. Let's go add them to the wall. All right, so here's what the wall is looking like now. Just a little bit more complete. We'll find all the minifigures we just added. So up there is EV99. Next up we have the Boba Fett. We got Wes Jansen down here. And then jumping pretty far, we have Darth Maul. And oh man, this is gonna be tough. There's so many weird guys I got. There's Admiral Emmett and Poe right below him. So him and him. And if we go further over here, we have Nix Jerd next to the other Resistance bomber pilot. Oh, we missed Tali Lintra. She goes right there. And then, oh boy, I'm gonna get yelled at in the comments for forgetting everyone already. But down there is the the E-Wing Shin Hati fighter pack. And I believe that's everyone we just added. I always forget as I get them spread out and added back to the wall. But yeah, that does it for this update video. Lots of cool guys and a couple of pretty dang expensive guys knocked off the wall. So glad to have them. And guys, I will catch you next time. Haha, I had to look because I did forget a couple. So right there is Kira, and then over there is the First Order Walker pilot. Now that is everyone we added to the wall today. So this time for real, I'll catch you all next time.